Here's what I've been up to with the lumber that I've produced on my Woodland Mills 122. I started off by building this 12 by 16 shed. I put that up first because I needed a place to put all my equipment as I got ready to build my 32 by 48 shop. It's board and batten. It's turned out extremely well. I did that all of that, except for the plywood sheets for the doors and the pressure treated lumbers for the base. All of that came off my Woodland Mills 122. And this is what else I've been up to with the lumber that I've produced on my Woodland Mills 122. I've been building this 32 by 48 shop, not too shabby. All of the wood in the frame, except for the trusses, was produced on the Woodland Mills 122. So all the 6 by 6 posts, 4 by 4 posts, 2 by 6 girts, and the beam up top, which is a laminated beam of 2 by 12s. All of that came off of the Woodland Mills 122. Welcome back to the Woodland Reboot, everyone. I'm sawing up the last of the 16-foot logs that I have for the 32 by 48 shop build. I need more 2 by 4s and more 2 by 6s to complete various aspects of the build, mainly blocking around doors and windows as I get ready to put on the metal walls. And what I plan to do in today's video, as I'm milling up this last of the 16-foot logs, is to give you an overview, give you my review of my Woodland Mills 122 sawmill. Thanks for joining me for today's video. Please remember to subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with as many friends as you like. Thank you very much and enjoy the video. Great looking 2 by 4s and 2 by 6s off of this last 16-foot log. Let's look at the log deck or the rail system that you get when you purchase the saw. Number one, the rails themselves are, I believe, 2.5 by 2.5 galvanized steel. So that's built well, holds up in the weather, obviously. And then these bunks are powder coated, obviously in the theme color of Woodland Mills, which is this hunter green color. So they're well built, well constructed. I believe the dimensions on those is roughly 2.5 by 5 inches. And they obviously they help connect and build the frame of the rail system that your saw glides on and rolls on. Okay, the next thing that you've got, in terms of securing your log to the deck, on this side of the log, you have these screw holes. So you just simply hit those up against the side of the log, and then to secure your log, you screw those in. Again, this is an entry-level mill, so you don't have clamps and other quick release log hold downs that you find on the more expensive mills. Now, if we move over to the other side of the mill, we can see some of the other elements of the system. Over here, we have the slots for the logs or the log stop, and these are adjustable, and obviously you adjust them depending on the height of the log that you're cutting. These work well. Again, all manual. It's an entry-level mill. You'll also notice that on the log stop it has a 45-degree angle here. This helps with rolling the log. If you have it turned around the other way, this side is more likely to catch the log, the side of the log, as you roll it and position it for that next cut. What you need to do when you receive your Woodland Mills sawmill is that you need to build yourself a base. Now, I went with 2x12s and built myself this base that I then place on rocks on the gravel here. Some patio stones that I use to level out the sawmill bed. And you don't have to do it this way. Go online and check out all the different ways that different people are setting up their sawmills. If you buy the 126 or the 130 in the Woodland Mills machines, you will get leveling feet that come with those models, if I'm not mistaken. This does not have leveling feet, therefore build the base and off to the races. Okay, let's move on to talking about the saw head and all the detail with that. The frame of the sawmill is extremely sturdy. In terms of these entry-level sawmills, this was one of the key aspects that I liked the most when I was comparing it to other mills that you can buy in the $2,500 and let's say to $4,000 Canadian range. Again, I want to emphasize the robustness of the design of this Woodland Mills sawmill. I believe this is sold as a 2-post sawmill head model. I personally would argue that this is a 4-poster, and I argue that because of the robustness of this triangular frame base here that connects these 4 posts together. Large 2-inch or close to 2-inch steel there. I don't know if that's quite a 1/4 inch in terms of these 2 black brackets here that are then bolted together. This is stiff and sturdy. There is very little vibration. I think that if you go online and you compare this sawmill to other sawmills in this price range, I'm talking 2,500 Canadian, maybe up to 4,000 Canadian, I do not think you're going to find a more robust sawmill head frame out there. And this is one of the features that truly attracted me to the Woodland Mills model. For the price point, for the robustness, for the rigidity that you get in this system, I just don't think there's anything else like it out there in the marketplace. Having said that, I'm sure that several people out there are going to correct me on that, and I may well be wrong, but that's my opinion based on the research I did before I purchased my sawmill, and that's one of the things I was looking for. I wanted to get into sawmilling, didn't want to spend a lot of money, but I wanted a quality machine, obviously, and to me, in terms of the research I did, it seemed to indicate that you wanted to try to get a mill that was sturdy and solid when it came down to the sawmill head framework. The power plant for this sawmill is a 7 horsepower Kohler Command Pro. Pull start, there's no electric start option on this sawmill. It's very simple. You turn it on, you turn the gas on, give it a few pulls, and off you go. I'll start it here in a second just to give you a look at it. What is there to say about it? Again, this is an entry-level sawmill. I know you've heard me say that numerous times. And with an entry-level sawmill at this price point, you're sacrificing power in terms of the amount of money you're putting out for this sawmill. So you're getting a 7 horsepower. It works, but again, someone who is looking for an entry-level mill to get into sawmilling, this engine works just fine on this setup. So in terms of turning it on, again, choke on, the gas is on, And mine usually starts on the first pull. If not, it's usually starting by the third pull. So let's see if it proves me right here. Every time, guys. Every time. Okay, what else do we have on the back side of the sawmill head before we head around to the front? You've got your lubrication tank sitting here. The watering line comes down, weaves its way through the handle. The on-off switch is here, and then it winds itself down to the drip point on the sawmill blade itself, and we'll have a look at that when we go around to the other side. You've got your measuring device over here on the post. The raising and lowering mechanism is just rotating the handle here, up and down. In terms of the measuring, again, entry level, it's not the most precise. You have to make sure you're keeping an eye of where your lines are on your measuring tape. These are magnetic. They come out, and there are two of them that come with the mill, giving you several options and which way to measure the log and your cuts. Obviously, you've got inches, and then you've got a 2-inch scale on the white one here, and the inch scale. And on the yellow, you've got the inch scale, and I think the quarter scale. And because they're magnetic, whichever one I'm not using, I just slap on the front of the sawmill. And of course, right down here where my hand is, you have the throttle. Works extremely well. The bar that comes out for you to lean into and push, I usually put my hands in this location like this when I push through. Very easy, works very well. On this side of the sawmill here in the back, you have the screws for adjusting the drive band wheel on this side of the sawmill. You get a little tube here that's weather tight that you get, I believe when it's shipped, you get a set of gloves in there, glasses, and your manual. I've got nothing in there right now, but obviously you can keep your manual in there for quick and easy reference for other things. So on the other side of the back side here, you've got a lot of business going on here. Number one, you've got your mechanism for tightening the tension on the blade, and there you can see the foot-pounds that you have to set it to each time you want to use your mill and get ready to turn it on. Very easy to use. You crank it up. However, the one thing that you do have to do, let me grab it here, you've got to go out and buy yourself a quality torque wrench. It doesn't come with you. It doesn't come with the sawmill, and with the right size bit on it, socket, and then you can use it to ensure that you've got the correct torque on the saw blade before you start milling. This bolt here adjusts the pitch of this flywheel, of this band wheel on this side. We'll open it up and have a look there. And this is the one that you'll play with. By adjusting this a 1/4 inch forward or a 1/4 turn back, you will adjust the ability of your blade to ride correctly on your band wheel. Okay, we're now here at the front of the sawmill head. There are 3 latches that secure the doors. There's one down here, already open. One here that's open. This is a camera mount, so please ignore that. You've got one up here, which I'm now opening, and then you've got this screw here that you need to unscrew and take out. And then you have access to your blade and your band wheels. Now guys, look, I'm using gloves to adjust my saw blade. Always recommend gloves. You never know when you're going to just nick some of these saw teeth, and you're going to have yourself a very bad day. So gloves, guys. Okay guys, so what do we have? 2 bandsaw wheels. I believe they're 16 inches in diameter. Okay guys, so what do we have in here now that we've opened up the protective cases and covers? We've got 2 wheels. One is the drive, connected directly to the motor. Centrifugal clutch system, guys, so essentially it's start, hit that throttle, and off to the races after you've let it warm up a few minutes. Well-constructed guides. You've got a safety bar here as well, which will prevent you, hopefully, if you set it and adjust it properly, from sawing through your log stops, which I have done. I think most novice sawyers have pulled that mistake. And this is not a video for putting the blades on and off, but I assure you guys it's a very easy system. Here's your lubrication system spout coming through this piece over here. Again, for the entry-level sawmill at this price point, exceptionally competitive, if not among the leaders in terms of what you get. Now, I think I've alluded to it or mentioned it already, but let's go over it again. The blade guides are 18 inches apart. That gives the mill the ability to saw logs that have a maximum of 22 inches in diameter. The depth of cut is 6 inches, and that's the distance from the bottom of the housing here to the blade, top of the blade. Again, for the needs that I've had for this sawmill and the project that I have underway, guys, the biggest ones that I needed to cut were 6x6 posts and 2x12s. Saw took care of those needs easily and effectively, so I was very pleased in that regard. And like I said already, guys, I purchased the extra length on the bed, giving me the ability to increase the length of lumber cut from, I believe, 10 foot 4 inches is what is standard in terms of the two sawmill lengths that you get with the sawmill, to approximately, I think, 17 foot 4 inches, or right around 17 feet long. I had the need to mill 16 foot logs, and again, that extra track extension has allowed me to do that. The sawmill is also equipped with these wire brushes that go into the grooves of the wheels here, ensuring that they remain free of any kind of sawdust buildup. So that's a nice feature again for a sawmill at this price point. My two critiques concerning the sawmill are the following. The lubrication system is delicate, guys. And the second issue is the location of the pull start for the motor. So when you combine those two factors, you stand over here on this side of the mill and your pull location is here. And I think I've just, by accident, illustrated the problem that I ran into. I dropped the cable, I hit the lubrication tube, and out it came. Now that's easily fixed, it goes back in there quite easily. But when I had my little accident with the sawmill, it yanked out, broke a clip here, and so I'm actually missing a clip, but it still works. Another clip for it, because as you see, it goes in very easily and the system continues to work perfectly. But those are my criticisms, guys. A little bit fragile, but again, can you really complain when you're at this price point? And the location of the pull start, I don't know what the constraints are for rotating that over and putting the pull on that side. I have seen some guys that have done it on their own. I've not done that. I don't like to mess with original manufacturer specifications, so I've left it in that location. Very minor complaints, very minor critique, guys. Okay, everybody, what's my overall rating for this sawmill and this sawmill setup? I like my Woodland Mills 122 sawmill. I like it a lot. I give this piece of equipment an exceptionally high rating. I'm a novice. I haven't really had the chance to get my hands on a lot of other entry-level sawmills, but YouTube is fantastic. You can get in there, you can watch all the videos of all these other entry-level sawmills, and you can get a pretty quick understanding about what's manufactured well, how much bang for the buck you're going to get, and the quality of machine that you're about to buy. And again, the big factor here for me is the price point. At roughly, I think it's roughly 2,800 Canadian right now, you can get this sawmill 2 track lengths, so that's the standard, the 10 foot, the capacity to cut logs 10 feet 4 inches long, and you're off to the races. You build yourself a base and you can start milling logs. I bought the extra extension, which I've already said. I bought myself a pivy, which I'll pick up and put in the video in a second, and that's about it. In addition to the quality of the machine at this price point, everyone, the support from Woodland Mills has, I would have to say, been top-notch. Do I have the ability to compare that to other sawmill manufacturers? No, but I live in this world, everybody, as you do as well. I buy cars, I buy other large ticket items for my household, washing machines, refrigerators. Their customer service is top-notch. The people they have working with them at their head office in Ontario, Canada, are very helpful, respond quickly, and always have a solution for the challenge that you brought to them and the problem that you're having managing your mill. So overall, guys and gals, sorry I haven't been saying gals, anybody who wants to get into sawmilling, I do not think you can go wrong if you've got that price point on the low end, or you just don't want to commit a lot of money, because you know what, you're not going to be sawmilling it with every free minute of your day or every amount of leisure time that you have at your disposal. You're not going to be out there sawmilling. So whether it's the 122, the 126, or the Woodland Mills 130, quite frankly, if you've got a little bit of money, you want to get into sawmilling, but again, you don't want to bury yourself in it and feel like you've got to be doing it if you've spent $20,000 every single day, or $40,000 or $60,000. My hat's off to all you guys and gals out there that can afford those top level machines from those top manufacturers. Good on you for having that extra cash in your pocket. But if you don't and you want to get in, you've got some logs you want to saw, you want to get that lumber, put that lumber to use for whatever hobby or possible small end production that you want to get into, I really don't think you can go wrong with this machine. Solid, basic mill here. There are no bells and whistles. Everything is manual. Well, this is what you get. It works well. It's built well. It's a solid little machine. So I'm beginning to repeat myself, but you get my point. I like it. It's performed well for me. If you've been following the videos that I've been doing, you've seen how much sawmilling I've done and the logs that I've gone through. I think I've probably done about 6,000 to 7,000 board feet of lumber now on this mill. Not bad, not shabby. Okay everyone, that's my review for the Woodland Mills 122. I like it, I give it a thumbs up, and if you're considering getting into entry-level sawmilling as a novice, this one should be on your list for consideration. Don't know that they're gonna get that thing through. Good luck, guys.